Hi guys, it's Dan DeCastro again. I'd like to address some of the points that were made on the forum about my plea to make changes. Now, let's not, uh, I guess, beat around the bush. There's a couple of people that are obviously pointing out that nothing can be done. No problem. I understand that. This is not about that. This is about something that I'm dying for people to understand because I've been trying to explain it and people just don't get it. And I really think it'd be a useful way of thinking about how to navigate and how to compose and how to be more versatile in your compositions within the piano scroll view. So, oh, good, it works. Okay, so essentially, what I was looking to have done was when I select a note, I'm in the flute track right now. When I select another note in a different track, as you can see, the highlighting goes from flute to oboe. That means I'm now in the oboe track because I've clicked an oboe note. I would like it to be such that if I'm in the oboe track or flute track or whatever track, let's say oboe for now, and I click a note in the flute track, I stay in the oboe track. Okay, there's a reason for this. In Sonar 2.0, I was able to look at these note values I have over here and copy them into my oboe track. Like I wanted to maybe double this line in my oboe track. This is let's start with the melodic line over here. You see this is the melody in blue. Okay, I wanted to double aspects of that melody in my oboe line. So I would do this. I wouldn't have to. Now what I have to do is double click, and it writes the note out. But it's not always exactly in position when I do that. Like it's kind of I have to kind of like eyeball it, and that's tedious. I would just want to do this, and boom, I'm done. I have my note. Or I would want to do this, and you see how fast I'm writing these note values now because of that. I don't want it to be flute notes. I want it to be, I'm sorry, I don't want it to be, I obviously I want it to be flute now, but if I was in the oboe track, I wouldn't want those to be flute notes. I want those to be oboe notes, but because it switches me back over to flute, it's only going to copy flute notes. So I was able to, double instruments on the fly. So I'd have a flute note up here and an oboe, what would be an oboe note down here. Now what I have to do is more tedious. I have to actually either manually write it out. I have to actually go to the oboe track, manually write it out now. Okay, so now I'm just manually writing these notes in the oboe track. And then I'd go back to my flute. Obviously, I don't want to have to switch between those tracks. I don't need to with the copy across track function. I know it's a little confusing, but let me try another example to explain here. So let's say I wanted to take this flute line over here. Let's hide these guys. Okay, so I want to select these two. Okay, so let's hide the oboe track. So we're clear on what I want to do. Actually, let's also hide the clarinet. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Or let's hide the oboe track. They changed this thing up and it's really so annoying. I really don't want to. There we go. Okay. No, I don't want this to because it's getting in the way. Okay, so now I have. Let's stick with French horn and flute. Damn it. Okay, so now I have French horn and flute. So let's say I want to copy this track over here, these notes over here. I want to stop over here at this point. I can't do that from track view, by the way. So the person who suggested that I do this in track view doesn't get what I'm trying to do. I'm not able to do exactly what I want to do from track view. I have a better view of my notes here. Okay, as you can see in track view, I wouldn't be able to really tell what's what here, and I may want to select different range of notes on different beat values, and it's just really difficult. I can't read this very well. I don't know why you would give me that advice. And then I would want to copy this, okay, down to the next track, and I have to be, so see if I copy it here, yeah, I can do that, but then it asks me blend old with new and all this other nonsense, or I have to, check off ask this every time, and it's not, I have to then go back to piano scroll view to continue my editing. I don't want to have to jump between screens, period. There's no need to do that, okay? There's a simple solution to this. So I disagree with that advice. I hate to say it. It doesn't work for me. And it shouldn't have to work for anybody, to be honest with you. That's not ideal workflow functionality. It's really not. So let's go back to what I was trying to do to get to my point a little better. So I'm going to select these notes easily in my piano scroll view where I can see everything. I want to copy these notes over into the French horn section, or the clarinets. Okay. The problem is this: when I click clarinets, I'm in the clarinet track. I'm going to try to copy those notes over into clarinet now. Here we go. Control. Okay, ready? It copied over flute tracks. You see what happened is that I was in the clarinet track just now. I wanted to select the flute notes that I had highlighted and copy them into clarinet. But no, every time you click a note that belongs to the track, it takes you back to that track and you're going to copy over what's in that track. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. If that's not clear yet, then I don't know what to tell you. But it is very bad. It's very bad. It messed up my workflow for years. I do this very frequently because I'm constantly writing doubled lines in different instruments, okay, to give it a unique texture, unique sound, unique possibilities. And I've done that, and I can show other works in which I've done that. But then I'd want to, in that, from here, I may want to do something different to counterpoint what I'm doing. Okay, and I can't do that on the fly anymore. And that just kind of bumbles my process. So that's one problem with this new way of doing things, is that I can't do that per se. Let's say that I'm in the French horn section here, and I want to, I have 1, 2 whole notes, and I want to like double or emulate the rhythm here. What I would normally do is I'd borrow from this note value and copy them down into my French horn. These notes would now be French horns, but because of the update, it's not. It's flutes. I don't want that. It was much easier to just work within what I have, like kind of like an artist's paint or palette. One of the palettes they use. They have different colors right there in their hand. I have my colors right here in my hand, and I can borrow from one color to supplement the other. It's just much easier to do it that way, much more time friendly, and I don't have to trip myself up having to navigate the medium that I use to compose so that I can get done what I want to get done. I don't want to have to write notes from scratch, because then I have to manipulate them because they may not be in the same position as I want to have them or whatnot. It's just too many extra steps that are not necessary. Even one extra step not being necessary is a step that you shouldn't have to take. Okay. If there was simply a button over here on this pane that would make it such that if I click it, it locks me into that track, and it allows the other tracks to be active, but not quite. I can just borrow from those tracks note values, but not necessarily add notes to that track. That is very helpful, extremely helpful. As a composer, I know what I'm doing. Here, let me just show you guys so you get a sense of what I'm capable of doing, and you'll understand I'm not your typical novice here. I have a sense of how to speed up my workflow because I have professional experience composing. So those are nice chords, nice harmony, nice elegant melody. Okay, it's obviously in its first stages, but I wanted to share that with you guys to know that I'm not your novice user of Sonar. So I'm not pulling stuff out of my butt here. I want you guys to know that there is logic behind the request. And despite the fact that they're not producing Sonar anymore, I think it was the best and the easiest to use PRV. Another issue that I have is the smart tool. The way that it works currently is you have to double click to enter a note. That's very tedious also. It should just be one click and I can just continue on to my next, and I'm writing melody on the fly right now. I would be. The smart tool is cool in many ways. They definitely did improve it. I like it. But I wanted it to be possible to just click my note, click instead of double click. And you see how there's a little bit of a lag when I do that? There's a couple of milliseconds. That's terrible. It's not really a smart tool. It's really, Sonar has really stumped my workflow. I write exclusively in piano scroll view. It's an exploit, obviously a musical exploit that I've used to win scholarships to music schools, and I've done that, and I've been noted as one of the fastest writers by professional composers that they've ever seen as a student. And I was a fast writer. Now since the update to Sonar, I've been kind of tripped up in their current functionality, and I'm not able to smoothly continue without having to think about how to navigate the environment. You shouldn't have to think. When you're composing, you should be focusing on the ideas that are coming out of your head, how to put them on paper, and to use the medium that can best allow you to put that on paper. So I'm going to post this up again. Hopefully, hopefully people begin to understand what I'm talking about, begin to see the possibilities in that suggestion, and kind of just leave me alone about, my melodrama. I am seriously upset that they made these changes. It cost me a lot of time, money. At least they were nice enough to give me a full upgrade to the newest version. I appreciate that from Sonar, and whoever did that, that was very nice of them. I feel like it's deserved, considering how much money I've given them without having had my request addressed. So that was nice, but I still think, and I'm still hoping that I can get in touch with one of the programmers and pay them money on the back end to help me fix it. Add a little bit of a tab, maybe a tab in my track list here to lock me into that particular track, despite which other notes I may click. Currently, it does not let you do that. Okay, that one update, along with just being able to click the note, the smart tool, and write a note out as opposed to double clicking, that would complete Sonar for me. That would make it absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. There's no other change that needs to be made. It's just those two changes that need to be made, and that's it. So with that being said, I hope somebody's listening. I hope somebody can help. I'm still going to plead for that help, and I hope you guys get it now. All right. Thank you.